Oh, man, I hate Mondays.
Nah, man, it's Tuesday.
Wait. What day is it?
You know what day it is. Tuesday. Brewsday Tuesday.
Oh, fuck yeah! Grab a cold one. It's Brewsday Tuesday, brought to you by the Cellar and Six Pack Store. Here is Huck and Big Nate.
3, 2, 1.
Doesn't make a noise, stop tapping.
Oh, I can still shoot
You
you.
finally got me.
Welcome into another edition of Brewsday Tuesday, brought to you by the Cellar Restaurant and Six Pack Store. He is Huck.
I am.
I'm Big Nate, and we're doing things a little bit differently. We were at FloydFest this past weekend, the week before, and we had a lot of fun. But it made me reminisce. It made me think all the camping experiences that I've had the privilege, the pleasure, and sometimes the displeasure and the disprivilege, I think that's a word, of having in my life. So I figured we should do some camping experiences. Thankfully, Huck is a little smarter about camping than I am. And
I've repeatedly told you,
yeah,
I'm not smart. I'm wise. Wisdom comes from experience, and experience comes from just those events you were just talking about.
Well,
the rainy rain and the snowy snow when you're camping.
We are taking advantage of his wisdom, his resources, and
we're in the beer V.
On location in parts unknown in the beer V. Actually,
there's some cows outstanding in the field.
There's a lovely scene behind us. I'm not going to lie to you. We went as close or remote as I have ever seen worked at our station. We are actually in the back parking lot doing our Brewsday Tuesday, but we're going to have some fun. We're going to talk some camping, and we figured we would kick this off with how we start camping.
Right.
Our first drink of the day.
I don't know if you've seen the meme where the guy's like, the wife's like, you can't drink until you put up the tent. He's popping the beer. That's me. I'm having my screwdriver, my good morning drink. Assuming, when I go camping, if you can check in at 11, I'm there at 11:01.
I feel like a screwdriver is like a really healthy option. I went less healthy. I've actually got the Hardywood Fighting Hokies Lager, which will apparently be available in Lane State. You know what? All of this advice we're going to give also applies to tailgating.
Right.
Just a pro tip for you, heads up. So I don't feel bad. I usually start with a lager.
And if you have like a 30 by 16 foot spot and you want to maybe 2 other people hang out in the beer V, hey, let me know. I'll come park it.
There you go. I mean, he is ready to crash your tailgate and talk about, well, Huck can actually talk about just about anything. That
just
is
about anyone.
Been
I proved that this weekend.
You did. I think at one point there was a conversation about your experience as the president of the Chamber of Commerce.
I think that came up, yeah.
And
that was not Huck. Pre-Huck.
Yeah, I just kind of sat there.
Huck should be, though. He'd be a great president of the Chamber of Commerce.
The community would benefit greatly.
It's like our goal for the Chamber this year is to have 18 new breweries. And there you go.
That's a solid, and we're going to achieve it, damn it.
Damn it.
We are not stopping. And so I always, like I said, I always start with something lagery. Usually it's PBR. That's my default, but I saw this Hardywood Fighting Hokies, and I figured it was probably time I tried it.
I always like to diss that beer just a little bit. It's actually very good, but you got the one of the best brewers in Virginia, Hardywood, and they're a craft brewer, and they're going to make a beer with the Virginia Tech Brewery.
I mean, that's as close to selling out as you can get.
Well, I'm just saying, why did they make a lager? I mean,
because everyone's making a lager now, and it was very clearly. I think you know what? I think you're onto something here. I think this is something that's been in the works for a while. Lane Stadium was just kind of the fine folks over at Virginia Tech were trying to segue in, and Hardywood's like, no, we're going to get our foot in the door, and they're going to have to accept us.
You're right, at the stadium, and people are already pretty buzzed.
Yeah,
probably is best just to have a 4 or 5% beer.
Yeah,
what is that, by the way?
It is 5% on the dot.
Yeah, so they're just going with the kind of the big boy macro beer level drunkenness as opposed to the craft beer level drunkenness.
So I do want to take a second. Of course, we talked about FloydFest in advance. We haven't talked about FloydFest since.
Right. Okay. Yeah, we should probably spend a little time on that.
So I do want to take a segment. First of all, I did send an email out to Sam and Brian, and if you guys are out there watching, I want you to share it with all your staff. But I am blown away. I don't know if your experience was similar, but it was my first concert since 2019, and to do it at FloydFest was so perfect. Everything was so great. I did not run into a single, usually my problems at FloydFest end up being self-driven anyway. Usually, for instance, one year we had a tent break on us. We got all the way there and put it together, and the pole snapped. Well, that's fantastic. Had to come all the way back home, get a tent. Our festival experience was delayed. Grilling issues, like I've had nightmares, but they've all been self-driven at FloydFest. It's always been a fantastic event, but this year, to me, was the most special that I've been a part of.
Yeah, I have to say that, unlike most people, I kind of kept partying last year, so I have been to a few festivals in between. Not usually very public ones, but they were there. But I have to say, this year's FloydFest was extremely, extremely smooth. I think my biggest problem was 2 days in a row. The music started at the libations tent at 11 a.m. and I couldn't get a beer until 11:05. I was pretty upset.
For 5 minutes.
I'm seriously, I'm like, but that's okay. I'm over it now.
So when you're on festival time, what time do you wake up?
Normally I wake up around 9, 8, it depends. Because my granddaughter was there and she stayed with us some of the nights. When she's there, she gets up at 8, so I get up at 8. But normally 9 to 10, festival time. Go to bed 12 to 2.
So we had to, full disclosure, we had to travel because we've got 2 under 2, and that makes things a little tricky. So we'd get home every night, 12, 1. We wouldn't wake up till noon. And I never, like, I'm someone who's up every day at 8 a.m., like almost on the dot. So it was nice. I feel like somehow I ended up more well-rested with the whole FloydFest experience than I would have been otherwise.
Also, I thought the music was excellent this year. I saw some really amazing bands. I'm kind of like, AHAD. I wander around. I get 5 minutes here, 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there, because I want to get as much of it as I can.
Yep.
And I thought that was great. The Hog Slop string band or something, they were Sunday afternoon. They're really good. If you missed that, they were really good.
Yeah, I missed them. I had to make a choice because I hadn't seen Dr. Bacon yet. I really wanted to see Dr. Bacon, so I went with Dr. Bacon, who was also really very good.
Yeah, well, apparently when they were on Hill Hollow, the guy crowd surfed.
I did see the pictures of that, and I think that was what was like, I've definitely got to go see.
The Old Crow Medicine Show was good. I missed the Everett Brothers. I was otherwise involved.
I did not see the Avett Brothers on location.
Okay.
And that's interesting because we had found out, of course, that was the one night we were able to get home early, kind of get the kids in bed and just gel out in front of our TV, and we watched the Avett Brothers stream.
I think everybody else wanted to see them, so we got all the kids that night.
That sounds about par for the course.
You can kind of hear from where we were actually on the mountain. Thank you, Sam. Ryan.
Yeah.
And it was great. So I would do that again. I would do exactly what we did. There was a little bit of rain, but I don't think anybody ever hurt by it.
No, the rain came down, but it was just everyone kept rolling. The one thing I will say about the rain, I've never seen fog like that. Like we were over by the Dreaming Creek main stage when it hit, and it was dense. Like I could probably see about 5 feet in front of my face.
I'll have to say I did have a little memory flash when I was sitting there after the rain, when the fog came in. I was sitting there and I was like, I'm from Waynesboro, Virginia. And we spend all our time on the Parkway. My family would go to picnics. When I was a teenager, that's where we go to drink, make out. That was our place.
As
Parkway.
one does.
I've hiked it with a Boy Scout. I hiked all of it. And the thing I remember most about Waynesboro in the fall is the fog. And I never really pictured FloydFest as being in the mountains because I don't remember the fog. But when that fog came in, I'm like, oh yeah, we're definitely in the mountains.
Oh, and it was serene. It was scenic. It was perfect. Of course,
beautiful.
The first one I was able to make it out to see was, in fact, Old Crow Medicine Show, and I'm not even being a little bit dramatic. That first note hit, and it was kind of just, man, we've missed out on a lot over this last year, and I'm so glad like things are coming back and things are getting back to normal, and they really should, because I at no point at FloydFest did I feel unsafe. I know you didn't, and
no, I haven't felt unsafe for over a year. But that's me. Everybody, hike your own hike. And, just be happy that you have whatever it is you need. Don't worry about everybody else. They'll be fine too.
So what are the ingredients to your screwdriver?
Okay.
Obviously orange juice and vodka.
Well, this one happens to be particularly good because I had a little bit.
You seem to have everything pre-measured and ready.
Well, I had 2 out of this 2 days ago, and it was in the top of my refrigerator. And of course, we're roughing it in the RV, so the refrigerator in the RV is a little colder at the top. It was actually a slushy. So I don't know if you can see this, but I actually have a screwdriver slushy, which is even better than a regular screwdriver.
That's luck.
So I do. This is like a 2-ounce measuring cup, Pirates of the Caribbean from Bugs Island Lake. Go there if you haven't done. I do about 1.5 of these. That's probably like 2.5 shots of alcohol, a third of this, and I use giant ice cubes just because they're easy to drink through.
They are very easy to drink through. I hate that crushed ice. Everyone always talks about how great the crushed ice is. It's like, yeah, no, that's great until you're like sitting on a bunch of sediment of it.
Yeah, the only time it's good is like when you get that Slurpee and pour that vodka in it. It goes right in it really well.
All right, so I suppose it's time to rate our beverages.
Well, I got to tell you, a screwdriver is a 5 out of 5.
I would say, is there any time when a screwdriver doesn't get a 5?
I always get the no pulp. I know we can argue about this. People like the pulp. I do not like the pulp. 0 pulp.
That's interesting because I feel like you prefer unfiltered IPAs.
I do.
So you'll chew your beer, but you won't chew your screwdriver.
I don't want to chew my screwdriver now.
I always get pulp, and
I think I knew that about you.
I can see why people wouldn't want pulp because it definitely is off-putting. But like if I'm drinking lemonade, it's that thing that, and even if it's orange juice, which is not always freshly squeezed, it creates the illusion in your brain. There's a little bit of freshness to it.
I don't think it would bother me in lemonade. I think I'm okay with pulp in lemonade. Pineapple juice.
Just orange juice. Do you eat oranges?
Yes.
All right, that's intriguing.
Rarely, but I do.
We're gonna have to pick that apart.
I eat orange slices. They give them to me sometimes. In the
they
bar.
go on the side of the drink.
Yeah, I'll eat those.
All right, so I'm gonna rate my fight. He's Huck's Beer Buzz on Untapped. I am Big Nate Danger. My Fightin' Hokies Lager gets an A for the bottle. I love these stubby bottles. Big fan of those, and
red line, red stripe.
Red stripe, yeah.
Use that Jamaican beer.
That being said, lager not my favorite. Usually, kind of just starting to get everything warmed up. I'll go ahead and this one's actually pretty solid. Excited to see it in Lane Stadium this coming season. Hardywood makes a solid product. 5% ABV. Not a bad maintaining beer. We're gonna go ahead and I'll give this a 4. Flat on the dot. And next segment, we'll try and get in a little more trouble. Brewsday Tuesday brought to you by the Cellar Restaurant and Six Pack Store on 105.3 The Bear.